one of the things that I really wish, and I try in all of my preaching and all of my conversations, whether it's by the bedside of someone who's dying or, in a side room in a prison, or over coffee or here in the sanctuary, all the encounters I get, I try not to waste the time by getting to something that I think all human beings need to hear, and that is that judgment is something we can welcome. Love, perfect love, casts out fear. That's the Apostle James tells us. The one who walked with perfect love. And so judgment is a good thing. And we can trust the one who from the cross says, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing, as they are actively killing and as they have spat upon and mocked and tortured, beaten, pulled out his beard, put the crown of thorns on him, all the other things that they do. He says, in the act of their violence, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Of course, pronouncing that on behalf of every human being who ever lived prior to that or ever will live. All judgment has been given to that one who from the cross, where is he enthroned? He's enthroned on the cross, right? The lectionary today, we have the appearance of James and John. Who's going to sit at your right hand and your left in your kingdom? Jesus says, you don't know what you're asking, because they don't know where his enthronement takes place. His enthronement takes place on Calvary, on that cross, and it's the two criminals who are, chosen by Rome to be crucified with him, and those are the people who, were seated at his right and his left in his glory. And from the throne, the judgment throne, he says, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. We can embrace that love, and we can embrace that God, confident that he alone is able to divide the tares in every human being from the wheat in every human being. There's a great mystery of being human, is that I can do something wrong and something good can come from it. I know this is hard to fathom, but as an example, and I'm borrowing this from my friend Ben Myers, we can marry the wrong person, but it would be evil to suggest that the children that come from a marriage are participate in a wrong decision. They're just beautiful and good, and God made them good. So we can make mistakes, and good comes from it, but we can also think we're right, and think we're doing the right thing, and in our goodness, pursuing righteousness, pursuing this or that, and actually be doing evil, pronouncing judgment on. How many times, have we, thought something about someone in church or at work or in our family, and then we find out, and we end up saying something or doing something to punish that person or judge that person or cause that person harm or something, and find out later, we thought we were doing the righteous good, I'm standing up for virtue, I'm standing up for justice or whatever, and we find out, man, we were totally wrong. So in every human being, as Solzhenitsyn famously wrote about, there's that oscillating line, between good and evil. And some people, evil's almost overtaken them entirely, but there's still that beachhead of created goodness. The Catholics would call the foeman that's in every human being, that cannot be obliterated. And then in some people, there's great goodness, and they've, given themselves over to the love of God, and they've embraced God. But there's still, even the best of us, this beachhead of this little, maybe some places it's just a little corner of darkness that's left. And only the Son of God from the cross is able to That's why he says, let it all grow together. And then in the end, we're going to take out the good. And he's the only one who can, root out the vice from our virtue, right? And then, retrieve the virtue from our vices and just leave us as whole human beings, as he intended us to be from before time and forever. And so everything in us that cannot meet the gaze of God, and the gaze of God is love, will be burned away. But that is something we can welcome. We can try, like a great physician who's going to, take out the cancer or take out the ailing organ or whatever it is, or do the transplant. He will wound, but the wounds are to heal us, So this is, I want people to leave the anxiety, because we hear the word judgment and we just become so anxious because of what we were told or how we were, all of this was presented to us, that, I use the word judgment and some people are like, wow, don't hit me with that, because we've been told that there's something we should fear, but once we encounter the love of God and we know that we are loved, even as we are, the wheat and the tares and everything together, that he is the great physician, and he is going to burn from us death, like straw and flame. And so everything that's a participation in death won't make it. And so, we can say like, well, all these things I love about someone, I hope that, they will, I'll still recognize them or know them or whatever in heaven. And, of course, about any of our family or friends. And I think that's true. The best of us will survive. But, God is the measure, and it's he's the one who will determine, what is about us that can inherit, that, and what about us will be burned away. But it'll be good. And we can really abandon anxiety about this and trust him and be at rest, knowing that he has our good in mind.